Sir Jim Ratcliffe's company Ineos has bought 25% of Manchester United. As part of the deal, they have gained sporting control of the club and are due to invest $300 million. But what is Ineos, and who actually is Jim Ratcliffe? Jim Ratcliffe is 71 years old. His net worth, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, is $13.6 billion, but the Sunday Times Rich List, an annual list compiled by the British newspaper, estimated him to be worth £29.6 billion, making him the second richest man in the UK. Ratcliffe already owns two football clubs, Lausanne Sport since 2017 and Nice. He also owns 1/3 of the successful Mercedes F1 organisation, the Ineos Britannia sailing team, and the Ineos Tour de France winning cycling team. He also has a pub, the Grenadier, in London's Belgravia, Limewood, a 5-star hotel in the New Forest, Hampshire near Southampton, La Portetta, a ski resort in Courchevel, France, and 2 super yachts, named Hampshire and Hampshire 2. And on top of all this, he owns Belstaff, the clothing company. Ratcliffe describes himself as a boyhood Man United fan, but he actually attempted to purchase Chelsea when the club were for sale in 2022, as well as offering Barcelona president Joan Laporta 2 or 3 billion from Ineos for a 50% stake in Barca and a promise to never sell up. He also told The Times in 2019 that he bought Nice rather than a Premier League club because Ineos never wants to be the dumb money in town. Never, never. And said through a spokesperson in November 2022 that investing in his Ligue 1 side would represent much better value for our investment than buying one of the top-tier Premier League clubs. Ratcliffe is not averse to the occasional change of heart then, a UK tax exile who backed Brexit, albeit a soft one, and moved Ineos' headquarters out of the UK and then back again. Ratcliffe grew up in a council house in Failsworth, a few miles from Manchester city centre. His father was a joiner and his mother worked in an accounts office. Later in his childhood, the family would move to Yorkshire where he was enrolled at Beverley Grammar School, just north of Hull. He left the school with A-levels in maths, physics and chemistry, and having captained its football team. He read chemical engineering at Birmingham University, then worked for Esso after graduation, before moving into private equity at Advent International. In 1992, he co-founded chemicals firm Inspec, and 6 years later formed Ineos. Today, Ineos is the 4th largest chemical company in the world, producing chemical and oil products that are used across industry and everyday life. It comprises 36 businesses at 194 sites in 29 countries, with more than 26,000 employees. If you have used a product containing plastics, textiles, medicines or hygienics in recent years, the chances are that you have used something Ineos has helped to manufacture. It also produces chemicals and compounds used in sport, including the plastic used in artificial grass, stadium construction, seats and goal nets, rubber, and PVC used in footballs and plastics in boots. Ratcliffe has made his fortune out of finding value in the market. Ineos is essentially a conglomerate of businesses he bought between 1998 and 2008, which are still run in a relatively loose federal style. In this regard, he is similar to Todd Boehly, the investor who ultimately won the Chelsea takeover contest. At Ineos, he used high-yield debt to finance deals and started hoovering up unwanted operations from British Petroleum. In 1998, with a young family, Ratcliffe mortgaged his house and put all his money into the deal. If it goes wrong, you've lost all your money and completely screwed up your career, he told the Financial Times in 2014. What did his wife think? She accepted it was a risk. Ineos eventually bought Innovine, BP's refining and petrochemical arm, in 2006. And in its first 10 years, Ineos completed more than 20 acquisitions. His strategy was relatively simple: take on debt to buy the asset, reduce the outgoings via cost savings, and build it back up. When the global financial crash happened in 2008, Ineos struggled to deal with the sharp decline in oil prices, and the company closed some factories. Ineos also broke a covenant and had to renegotiate debts with several banks at a cost of £804 million. Ratcliffe asked the UK's then Labour government for a short-term deferral of a VAT payment worth £350 million, but the request was turned down. Ineos is also a major consumer of fossil fuels and therefore a significant generator of greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, and the company's record on environmental concerns has often been questioned. On its website, Ineos insists that sustainability is fundamental to how we do business. On the wall of the lift in the company's headquarters in London, there is a giant compass covered with words and slogans we like in its northern half and ones we don't like in its southern half. In an attempt to explain the company's DNA, kids and sport, team players, and work hard, play hard are all in the northern half, as are a beer and northerners. In Grit, Rigour and Humour, The Ineos Story, a book published in 2023, the company's co-founder and chief financial officer John Rees is asked about its recent forays into more consumer-facing products, such as building 4x4s, fashion and football. The logic was that we were very successful generating a lot of cash, says Rees, but you need to have a bit of fun. You can't spend your whole life in chemicals. This makes Manchester United the most recent step away for Ineos, and the newest frontier for Jim Ratcliffe.